Bomba fırlatıyorum.
Salutations, everybody. This is Emmett Watkins Jr., also known as EJ Sponge61, and I'm here to give you my thoughts on the Battlefield 1 beta that is currently going on the weekend I upload this. So first off, we'll start off with have I played previous games. I really got into Battlefield around, I was in the Battlefield Bad Company 2 beta. I played an ungodly amount of that, but I never actually picked up the full game because, you know, I was a kid, didn't have a lot of money. Other games got my interest. But by the time Battlefield 3 came out, I played a whole lot of Battlefield 3. That game was one of my favorite shooters on PS3. Same thing with Battlefield 4 when that came out. I know it had some launch problems on PS4 when it first came out, but I actually picked that up like a couple months before I bought my PS4. I bought it on PS3 because I'm like, I can't take it anymore. I want to play this game. And I played it a good bit on PS3. Then when I got my PS4 eventually, I bought it again on PS4. And I've been playing that game for hours and hours and hours. That might be one of the shooters on PS4 that I've put the most time into when it comes to online multiplayer. It's a very solid game. It just got better and better as more updates were made for it, and they've just kept supporting it. And even though it had a rough launch, it turned out to be a fantastic game, and I'd recommend it still to anybody. And I even went back and bought Battlefield Hardline, and you know, while the campaign isn't necessarily all that, the multiplayer is perfectly fine. People like to crap on that game a lot, but I actually enjoy Battlefield Hardline. It has a different vibe than normal Battlefield games that I'm used to playing, and I thought it was a perfectly fine game, though it, you know, wasn't the most amazing. So after all that, we get to Battlefield 1. Now, I gotta be honest, I was super hype when I saw the trailers and even the rumors before we saw trailers that it was going to World War One. Because it's been a while since we've played anything from like the 1900s as far as war games go. Hasn't been since like Call of Duty World at War is the last one I'm thinking of, the last major shooter franchise to go back way back in time. So I was very excited to see it. The gameplay looks gorgeous. DICE has they've updated their engine for Star Wars Battlefront, and you can definitely see all the texturing and all the lighting effects and stuff that's going on in this game. They transfer all that stuff over to Battlefield 1. It looks gorgeous. I can't complain about anything in this game as far as graphics wise. And the gameplay, now here's the thing about Battlefield gameplay. I've always liked the Battlefield games, clearly, as I've said it, but it is very much so, it is not a game where you're expected to live a long time unless you're, you know, got a good squad, good team. But I rarely ever run with a team because I'm more of a lone wolf. So my Battlefield experiences have been, you know, kill maybe one or two people if you're lucky, then die, and kill maybe one or two people, then die, and then every 3 hours or so I'll get in a vehicle, and I might have a good streak in a vehicle, but typically I just die. And that's how it's been in every single Battlefield game for me, and I've still had fun despite it, but you know, it's not the most rewarding gameplay loop. Now in Battlefield 1, it's kind of a similar thing where like I said, I'm still lone wolfing it in this game very much so, but it feels like it's way easier to actually make an impact as one individual soldier than it was in previous games. In previous games, you know, all this equipment and stuff, you got rocket launchers, you got crazy rocket grenades and stuff, or grenade launchers, that's the thing I was thinking of. You got a whole bunch of weaponry, you got a whole bunch of gadgets like little drones and stuff that are flying around, and you know, there's way more things out in the environment that are out to get you in those games. In Battlefield 1, since it has this World War One setting, it is way easier to there's less ways to die, I'll say. You tend to know where all the enemies are coming from. You tend to know where your threats are coming from. The vehicles in this game, it's kind of difficult to take them down because, you know, no rocket launchers. You don't have as many explosive options now, and even from each of the classes, they might have like one or two ways of handling a tank if you're any particular class. Unless you're the assault class, they have like 3 or 4 ways of just messing up a tank really good. And so yeah, it makes vehicles feel, very scary, and everyone feels like they can do damage to them, but not everybody can necessarily take them down on their own. And the vehicles are very fun in this game. I was able to get a streak in one of my matches where I just stayed in a vehicle pretty much the entire time because my driver was really good, and I just mowed down infantry as we went ahead and captured different points in Conquest. Very good on that front. Even the sniping in this game, I've never been a fan of sniping in Battlefield because it just seemed like the most realistic type of sniping, where you have to just sit from way far away, zoom super far in, and then have to worry about bullet curve and bullet trajectory. Like that never seemed appealing to me. But for some reason in this game, even though snipers aren't even one hit, which in my head would be a turnoff, sniping's kind of fun in this game. Or not even kind of, it is fun in this game. There's enough of a, since all the weapons are kind of low graded, even the snipers taking 2 shots and having to reload after every one, you don't get taken out instantly as soon as you fire your first shot, so you get time to deliver that second shot and to deliver that killing blow. So I really appreciate that. And, my favorite class in all the Battlefield games has been the medic, and I love what they've done with the medic. The medic is pretty much a DMR class, and while I like the concept of DMRs, like in Battlefield 4 they had a bunch of DMRs, and even Battlefield 3 I used the SKS a lot in Battlefield 3, and that was a DMR. The DMRs in Battlefield 4 at least are not very viable of an option in that game when you have dozens and dozens of automatic weapons, and even weapons that aren't automatic, they do more damage for the output that they have. They just didn't seem very viable. But in this game, you do have a couple submachine guns in classes like the assault class and such, but the DMRs do really good damage, and they're kind of, this is the thing with all of the guns, I should say, the recoil on all these guns are kind of exaggerated, kind of extreme. Now this is only compared to the previous games that were of course in a modern setting, but I can feel the kick in these guns a little bit more. I think that's going to keep it, I think that's meant to keep it authentic to the World War I setting, but you can definitely feel the weight in the game of all these guns. But I think it's kind of an improvement. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a detractor, because the game, because it's kind of harder to get kills with all the weapons, and it's kind of, when everything's broken up, when everything's like run down, when everything kind of sucks to use, when you get a kill with it, it's so much more rewarding. It's like it feels like you're fighting with the recoil a lot of times, way more than other games, and it's just so satisfying once you do get that kill. And same thing with the even with the tank grenades, it's way more satisfying when you're able to throw a tank grenade at a tank and then run away, and then you get the kill after running away, than just shooting your rocket at it and then blowing it up. I mean, I don't know why, it feels more difficult to do, which makes it feel more satisfying once you pull it off. And even with the airplanes, I mean, I haven't been able to fly the airplanes very much because I'm not very good at air combat, to be completely honest with you. But even taking those down, I feel like would be not pretty easy, but at least doable, because even with the sniper class, they give you kind of bullets that will damage armor and planes a little bit more, so you could just aim up in the sky and take out a couple planes if you wish. So they have a lot of diverse options for each of their classes in taking down infantry, of course, and also every single class has some type of way to take care of armor, but none of these ways are overpowered. Of course, the assault class is going to be, he's the assault class, so he's going to be able to take care of armor way more efficiently than other classes. But everybody else, they have ways of doing damage that won't be worth anything if you work with your team to take down an armor. So yeah, I'm really loving this game. I didn't think it was gonna be, because I'm planning on, there are a bunch of shooters in my head that I want to buy this year. Battlefield 1 has been one of them forever. Titanfall 2 has been one of them forever, especially because I didn't play Titanfall 1 because I'm a PlayStation 4 guy. And even Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, they just released the multiplayer footage of that recently, and it looks pretty fun. I will say, even though it doesn't look particularly surprising, but Modern Warfare 4 remastered. I want that. So yeah, all these games are bouncing around my head, and I was thinking Battlefield, and I was primarily stuck on Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1, and I was thinking, okay, one of these games are going to be the one that I buy, because they come out in the same month. I want to say within maybe even a week of each other. So I was already had my eyes set on Titanfall 2 because, you know, I'm all about that fast-paced movement. I'm Mr. ADD. I'm always running around the battlefield every time. And so I love that movement, and I love the gameplay in that, and especially it feels Call of Duty-esque, and that's one of my favorite shooter franchises. But playing this Battlefield 1 beta, it has me shaken. It has me questioning my choices. I might even end up getting both. Who knows? But yeah, this beta definitely impressed me. It is way more fun than I thought. It is way more polished than I thought. And it's just fun in a way that I didn't really expect. Because the setting is not only just a fresh coat of paint, but it actually changes the gameplay in very interesting ways that I don't feel like any other shooter is doing right now. And I do have some hesitation because I'm completely confident, even though Titanfall 1 didn't have a single player campaign, I'm fairly confident that they'll pull off a good campaign, just knowing the pedigree of those guys since they're behind the Modern Warfare franchise. But Battlefield campaigns have always been, from a gameplay perspective, they've been fine, but they've always been bleh. Like Battlefield 3, I've never played the Battlefield Bad Company games, so, you know, though I've heard those are the best Battlefield campaigns, but Battlefield 3's campaign was kind of meh. It was fairly generic, and the gameplay was just, it was straight up just shoot people. There was no reward system, no point system, nothing besides just killing people. And it was perfectly fine, but it was, you know, got boring pretty quickly. And then Battlefield 4 was a little bit more interesting. I like the characters and stuff, and it even have some gameplay systems that gave you like single player experience, so you can unlock guns in that way. But it was still, you know, more or less bare bones compared to a lot of other shooters out there. And so I don't know what Battlefield 1 has in store. I love the setting. I'm liking everything they show, like the little snippets of single player footage that they give us, but I'm questioning if they're actually going to come through with a good single player campaign to justify, you know, sure the multiplayer I have complete faith in, but is this single player campaign going to be something that I'm going to want to play through and enjoy playing through? Not just because it's there, but because I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, that's my one concern for Battlefield 1, but everything else that I've seen in this beta has been absolutely outstanding, and I have complete faith that DICE is going to deliver another winner with this one. So yeah, that's all I think about the Battlefield 1 beta. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Y'all have a good day.